How you doing, all you meatbags? This is the Reverend Blackjack McBride, guitar player, singer for the world's only rustic outlaw southern metal band, Two in the Chest, and the DJ of the Dust Bowl Metal Show. I am going to use that reverend part of my name today, and hopefully you enjoy it. So, without further ado, we are going to bring to you, as soon as I can get it uploaded here, what I have come across over the last few weeks. Things that have been brought to my attention, and just basically a bunch of research on the truth and what the elite leaders of the world have been hiding from us. So, without further ado, please sit back and enjoy the truth. Hey, I'm going to start by saying this is the first time I've done a sermon to the people. And the reason I'm doing it now are for a few reasons. Hello, all you awesome children of God. There may be many gods, but this one's mine. Is it yours? Hello, my name is Rich Hornalis, and I'm 49 years on this earth. I've got many things to talk to you about on this day. Over the last several weeks, my eyes have been opened, and I hope to open yours too. To what, you're asking? Well, what if I were to tell you that the following and believing in your God is a whole lot easier with the research that I've done over the last couple weeks? No, I'm not the only person that's done this research, but I feel my God has shown me the prophetic light, so to speak. Now, before you stop this video and call me a whack job, please hear me out. Let's go back to the beginning, and let's help you truly understand what John was saying in the Bible. John 1:1 through 5. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made. In Him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shined in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Let's start with John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the easiest term, without Him, there is nothing. Jesus has been called the Word. He was and is and will always be. 2. The same was in the beginning with God. These words can at times be very confusing, but just know this very simple thing. God was, is, and will always be. Okay, now for verse 3. It states, all things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made. He is the Creator, point blank. Everything you see, God made. Light, water, animals, plants, dirt, rocks, you and me. He made everything. In fact, He has to be the foremost leader in the arts. He is the most creative of all gods, no matter what God you follow. You and I are here because He said so. This next verse is so awesome that if I explain it correctly, you will be filled with such joy you will not be able to contain yourself. In Him was life, and the life was the light of men. Can you see what he's saying here? We are His life. We are His everything. He loves us more than anything. He wants us to be happy and have everything. In Him was life, and the life was the light of men. Show Him your thanks by being a great and loving and caring person for your fellow creations, because that's what we are. We are, each one of us, a work of art filled with God's light. The next scripture says it all. when you try and explain God's total love for us to people that are living in the dark. And the light shined in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. When we, as God's little works of art, walk into the lives of people that do not know God as we do, we are like a light that's being turned on in the darkness, and even though they can see us, they can't understand us. Because even though the light from us is right in front of them, they can't see anything else around them because it's total darkness. Therefore, they cannot understand anything. The only way you will ever be able to understand God's true love for yourself is for you to turn on the light within your own hearts and become a true work of art that God intended you to be. This is why no matter how many times you explain to these people the words of God, they do not understand. Let's move back to the very beginning. Well, maybe not all the way back, but how about Genesis 1:6 through 8? And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And that it was so. And it was so is what it says. I don't want to misread it. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. Let's take a look at these three scriptures. God is an artist. We have already explained this. Genesis 6 states, "And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Okay, you're saying, what the heck is God talking about? Firmament? Firmament is heaven, folks. Now, what is said here is within the waters is heaven. In the midst, this means in the middle. Okay, hang on. You're going to freak out when I explain the rest. You might want to sit down. Then he says, "Let the firmament divide the waters from the waters." Now, when he says this, what he's saying is that there are two different sets of waters. And within the middle of one of those waters is heaven. Now, verse 7 will explain in detail what he is talking about. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. Okay, he divided the waters which were under heaven from the waters that were above heaven. Now, this is where I get a little confused. Does this mean there are three different sets of waters, and the water in between houses heaven? He is not a confusing God. This is what he is saying. Okay, so we have the waters here where we are, and up there in the middle of the second waters sits heaven. And about that is more water, and above that is more water. Now you're saying, what the heck is this dude talking about? Okay, I want you to think about this for just 1 second. Have you ever seen an artist build a boat inside a glass bottle? Well, this is going to blow your mind. Folks, forget everything you have ever learned here on earth, because your life is about to become a whole lot more easy. God is the artist that built that boat in that bottle. What? You're saying, my brothers and sisters? God, in his glory, has created the coolest piece of art that you could have ever imagined. I will give you some more scriptures to explain this in another video, but let's dwell on these words for a few more minutes. Now, if there were waters above us and waters below us, How is he keeping them separate? Well, that's easy. Picture this, if you will. A glass ball. And in the middle is where we are. The land we live on is about halfway up the ball. And yes, it's flat. Another scripture in Genesis proves that when the devil was trying to tempt Jesus up on the mountain, he said that he can show him all the kingdoms from that mountain. Now, if he could show Jesus all the kingdoms from that mountain, how is it even possible on a round world? Because you can't see the bottom. The world is flat. The scriptures tell you that. And all around the ball, on all sides, is water. The water above houses heaven. So you're saying, if this is true, then how did we send people to the moon? Folks, we never went to the moon. It's impossible. You're saying, if we live in this dome, then why have we not seen the dome? Well, first, it is very large. The earth that God created is huge. Okay? And the dome goes all the way around it. It has been found off the Gulf of Mexico by divers in a submarine. They have found it. They have also found it in Antarctica. I will continue. The powers that be will not let anyone near the dome. True north is in the middle of our flat planet, on our flat earth. And Antarctica is all around the edges. North in the middle, and all the edges are south. Every country on earth has agreed to keep this from the general population by way of treaty that has been in place since the 50s. You're saying, what about the sun and moon? I will get to that in another video as well. Just digest this for a few seconds. Now, Genesis 1, 9, and 10 state, and God said, let the waters under heaven be gathered together unto one place, a flat place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called the seas. And God saw that it was good. Genesis 9 is saying all the waters on earth gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. This is where we live, on this flat earth, within a dome. Let's take a look at Genesis 1:14 through 18. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser night to rule the night. The lesser light to rule the night, a tongue twister. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light upon the earth. Okay, the actual scriptures. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. Let's look at 14. Stars in the firmament. This means within the waters of heaven. That's right, folks. Within the waters of heaven. So those stars you see are in water. Folks, to put things in perspective, we are in a dome with water all around the outside of the dome. So there is no way that man could go to space. The earth is flat, and the place within the middle of the dome. And the earth is flat and placed within the middle of the dome. God is up there, my brothers and sisters. and He is a lot closer to us than you think. Did you know that God Himself was here on earth? Let's take a look at that scripture. Man, it gave me chills. Now that to know that our awesome God was here on the very land that we walk and live on. Let's go way back to Genesis 1:1 and 2. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water. The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water. Man, did that give you chills? Our awesome Creator was here on the very earth that we stand. Man, that is amazing. This new, easy look at what we are may be to some an eye-opening experience, and that, my friends, goes without saying. Now I'm going to tell you something that you can now believe. The superpowers here on earth are hiding God's very existence from us, and have been doing this ever since they found the outer dome in Antarctica. If anyone that sees this video or hears the audio from this message that has the ability to force the government to give us the truth, please do your part. We are all God's creatures, and I hope this message has truly opened your eyes and have given you a deeper love for our awesome Creator. Until next time, may peace and love be with you until we meet in the air. This is the end of video 1.